imagine what a menuchas hanefesh it is when you're working for the Yebishter. You can't imagine. I got up. I had to speak in Bnei Brak. And the next day in Yerushalayim. And I had 1,000 people. All right, I don't know if that's 1,000. By me, it was 1,000. He said, my Dimion. It was a nice few 100 people, that's for sure. Packed house with hundreds of, whatever it was. Now, when I came there, first of all, I realized you could do well and you could not do well. If you do well, Rabbi Mendel, you did a great job. Oh, no, I'm not saying it good. Harab Mendel, Hayatov Ma'od, Harab Mendel. You're going to hear some of that stuff. They'll rave over you, how good you are, and how great you are. And you saved my life, and you did this, and you did that. They're on your case. They're telling you how good it is. That's if you do well. What if they didn't? What if this guy was all his life? You know the Minchas Aluza, there is a famous movie of the Minchas Aluza. It was at his daughter's chasana, and Yashakech, and they gave him some type of microphone. He thought he was addressing the entire United States, something like that. Got up on them. I heard him say, if you'll keep Shabbos, it's going to be good. So keep Shabbos, Kol Tov. I don't think anybody heard that, except it's on the movies. It didn't get further. He thought he was addressing the whole world. Do you know how much schar he's getting in Olam Haba from being Makar of the whole United States of America? You made it, you didn't make it, they heard you, so what? You're dealing with the Eibishter, so who cares? You made it, you did a good job, and not... He doesn't care. Hashem is such a pleasure working for him. It's a different world. In fact, if you didn't do good, it's Toipam B'tzar Me'mea B'litzar. Baruch Atah. No, Yeli Yayim Al-Cholam. Shakel Migorid. Amen. Main thing is get that Budweiser stuff. It's good. It's great stuff. Get a hold of it and drink. Whoever drinks my stuff is geholfen. Budweiser means he's going to be budding with success. That's what it means. Wiser and wiser. That's what it means. I mean, you think this Simona Milsahi, I am, I started getting into a lot of kiruv. I'm able to reach a lot of people, Baruch Hashem. Because whenever I take carrots means merin. Merin means multiply in Yiddish. So you say that in Rosh Hashanah. You take carrots. Every time my wife makes soup with carrots floating all over the place, there's little particles of carrots. You know what I do? I take each one. I take my time. Boom. She doesn't know why I suddenly like carrots so much and why it takes me a year to finish it. That's why. Because I'm busy. You think it don't work? Look what's going on here. Simona Milsahi. It's a Gemara. That's it. So I say, you're going to be budding and you're going to get wiser. If you drink my Budweiser, Rabbi Say, you're going to get budding Talmud Chacham, you're going to be knocking and steiging. Budding means it's budding, it's going to be flowers, it's going to be beautiful. And you're going to get wiser and wiser, more Yer Shemayim, more Chachma. The best seichel in the world is Bטחון. It's a chazal. Being smart means being Beiteach. Gemara says like there's tons of Eliyahu, I think, says Hashem gave Jews Chachma Bina Das and Haskel. For what? There's 4 different variations of Seichel. Chachma Bina Das and Haskel. And to use it to have Bטחון in the Eibush. Use your Seichel to have Bטחון. Don't worry so much. It's going to be good. I once went to a store, one of these big giant department stores. And I was looking for something. The guy Oh, well, we don't have it. Go right across the street, the competitor, the guy that's putting this guy out of business, He's, oh, go there, like, go right there. Yeah, no problem. He's a nice guy, the manager. I was wondering, are you guys okay? That guy's making you're going to be messed up because of where you're sending me. These guys are putting you guys out of business. I can't. I'm a manager. I don't own this place. I'm just a manager. I just work here. I'm just a local yokel who presses, or I'm one of these guys at the cashier. I care what's happening. I'm getting paid for pressing buttons. And I sit there all day. The company has no shackles with me. I'm doing a good job. They're paying me. Don't bother me. Yeah, the company will be all right. I mean, they're not putting them out of business, but they're a competitor, whatever. So, I wanted to Taina, when you are working for the Yevishter, you're like that manager, I couldn't care less. I work for the Yevishter. Oh, well, make things work already, but it's not my business. I do my hishtadlis, and goodbye. It worked, it didn't work. In fact, if it didn't work, lefum tzaira agram, then you get 100 times more schar if it didn't work. How many people suffer the machabrim of Sfarim? Oh boy. You know what they do? There's thousands and thousands of Yidden, and I encourage them. It's brought down as Sfarim Akdashim. Put out a sefer even if nobody reads it. As long as you put it out. It's a beginning. Very big. In the next world, they're going to let you just put out the sefer. Who cares if they get it? I do recommend. I was trying to get my Bטחון weekly on a famous whatever, and I had a lot of protection there. My best friends were connected with some place that if you're on their good list, it's shame. And it never worked for some odd reason. It never worked. So I'm stuck with giving it out to Lakewood for the last 15 years. one shtick Torah, the stipler, and he points to Reb Gershon, and one shtick Musa. Gershon was totally Musa. Anyway, he said, Reb Gershon came back from a certain group that's very, very, very inspiring. And his mouth was wide open. And he told Reb Nissen, what I saw today, Reb Nissen, let him have it. He screamed at it. Now, I'll tell you what he said. It's supposed to be a Polish word for a spilus chopper. Yekebemba! Don't ask me to explain that. Ask a guy who knows Polish where the word would come. But it means you're chopping a spilus. Get out of that. We don't believe in chopping. It's so important. You will disappear if you're one of those. We all do. We're all busy disappearing, by the way. I once watched the one time I saw the Vardigas kill each other, and they loved doing it. It was in Monroe, at the Satmar Reb Yelish's yard side. Reb Gershon used to fly in, and Reb Shlomo Figa was there, Zecher Tzadik Abracha. You know what Reb Shlomo Figa did when he came to Siberia? He was told, no one ever leaves this place. It's impossible. It never happened. You know what he said? There's no question we're leaving. That's Reb Shlomo Figa. Tzadik Yisei Delim. You know that the Beis Yisrael, he had sons who were gerers. Beis Yisrael said about him, he is a shtick Yerei Shamayim. And the gerers don't talk so fast. This man's a shtick piece of Yerei Shamayim. He learned a lot of Sha'ar B'Eidus Elikim every morning for 2 hours with a shtick Yerei Shamayim. Reb Shlomo Figa, I remember I once danced with him. Was he sugar? Reb Shlomo Figa. His family loved him. I once spoke to one of them. They loved him as Nobhardika, Kleinikai. And I think Rabbi Yisrael Meyer was the third one. There were 3 Nobhardikas. Gershon was one. I think it was these 3. And they were in Monroe. They came for the yard site to Satmar Rebbe. Gershon flew in. These 2 lived in New York, in Borough Park. And I heard, and they were knocking each other to pieces. And each one was telling the other one, I get bottle. When I see such a crowd, I'm bottle. And the other one says, I'm worse than you. I really get bottle. Like, I see a crowd, I feel like creeping. And like, by them, that's the lowest of the low to get bottle. I don't believe any of them had any shaykhs with getting bottle anywhere. Because in a Vardiga, it's stoltz. I used to get it over the head for my Rebbe Rabbeis if I ever got, like, that's why I became very stoltzy, because he let me have it. He said, "Was for a shiflus?" Shiflus means when you think you're a nobody. They can't handle that even. Nobhardikis, that's olive base. You can't chop a spilus from anything. People especially. Don't chop a spilus. What are you getting so excited? Ooh, did you see? I saw a Rebbe, what he does, boom, boom, boom. I saw Rosh Hashiva, boom, boom, boom. I said, what are you talking? They don't like it. Nobhardikis don't like chopping a spilus. It ain't healthy. I'm go to war against that stuff. Come in. I go to war. I personally, I chop a little spilus, but I have to work on it. I don't like the whole business. Don't turn me into an ant that's getting all excited over what I just saw. What about me? I do get excited over me. That I do. I try to. I work on it. Like people tell me, Mendel, you're so liberal. You know, you build yourself up. Here's liberal stuff. I says, do you know how hard it is to be liberal? So how easy it is to call yourself a zero minus. You all do it. Every yuckled. Oh, I'm not so good. So go do it. You know, the people, the originators, those Jews that used to put themselves down, the Anovim, they thought they owned the world. That they needed to do that. While I was in Eretz Yisrael, Somebody told me the name of a famous, one of the biggest names in the world today, is a tzaddik, a lovely person. I think I once got a bracha from him. It's sugar, I love him to pieces, but he goes around all day. Ich bin gunish and ich bin gefällig and I'm a bum and I'm a zero and a yuckle and schmuckle and puckle. That's all he does day and night. He knocks himself to thousands of pieces. That they told me this. They said, Mendel, you're certainly not like him. A famous name. I can tell you privately who it is. He knocks himself 24/7. Mendel, what about you? You're going just the opposite. You call yourself like you own the world. By the way, I have one thing over him. That when I blow myself up, I get people to smile. I don't think people smile when he calls himself names. It's not funny. When I get up and I say, do you know who I am? You know my madrega? Have you ever seen my hat? Kodesh v'toyer? Mendel? You don't even know how big I am. Like my famous story, my Adam called me up. Shvel Laban, you know what I heard about you? I said on the phone, whatever you heard, do not believe it. I'm much better than that. That's what I told him. He was on the floor. I do this all the time. And people love it. In fact, sometimes I try to cheer people up. It's nothing's happening. I have some shalachim coming, whoever. I try to see, you know what I do? This is one of my favorite lines that gets everybody starts cracking up. I say, Ich heiss Yudel Mendel. Okay. I speak Indian. You know who I am? Yeah. Did you see signs all over Lakewood, Tzaddik Bola? Yeah? That's me. You always do that. They love it. They go crazy. They don't kidding around. But some of them, you got to watch it. Some of them think you mean it. So I'm telling you, I have to add. I'm making a joke. You heard? I'm making a joke. Easy. Soon they're going to send you somewhere. Who's this egomaniac? So they told me about this gadol. He's a gadol, he's a tzaddik, he's sweet, he's everything. He's a leader. So he has a big base medrash and he's gewaldig. One of my close friends is one of his chassidim. So he told no Mendel, why don't you do what he does? I says, I got to ask you one question. What was he like as a kid? Was he a born Eloi that everyone's raving over day and night? Oh yes, definitely. I says, let him keep doing it. He needs that. I want him to continue calling himself a zero minus. He has to. He'll got to turn into a Baal Gaivanik. If you're born where the whole world's raving over you, you got hard work. Because you think you own the world. You're the person that has to call himself a nobody. Or else, now, I'm going to tell you, but most of us guys got to do other stuff. We got to call ourselves, we're great. I want to tell you something, that today, for that person it might be true, I guess it is. It's so interesting. I'm going to find you today hundreds of people that they really were, they had it all. The yichus, and best kid in school since day one, and best shidduch, and money, Torah Gdula b'makom echad. You think they should be like so-and-so. They're just like me. You build them. I tell them, you better do it. They're broken to pieces. Whenever I got a guy broken to pieces, I says, okay, what's with the home? What's the background? There's a reason. Well, if you have such a background, today, again and again, the guy comes from the most beautiful. He had love and warmth and everything. He did well in school. He had friends socially, and he's still broken to 2,000 pieces. It's something in the air. You can't blame nothing anymore. You could, if it makes you feel good, and maybe you have a point, whatever. But people are broken because David just put it in the air. It's time for broken-hearted souls. Welcome to Dar Ikvasa de Mashiach. All the broken-hearted souls. Maybe David wants us to appreciate Mashiach, to want Mashiach. You're broken, then there's someone to talk to. What did the Kotzker Rebbe said? There's nothing as whole as a broken heart. That's great. Have a broken heart. Good news. You don't hope from yourself. And you get panic attacks? That's great. There's a lot of people out there who are all like you. They got so much company. Panic attacks. I want to tell you, I want to warn you that people don't always open up, except to me. Me, they all open up. I don't know why. You can't imagine how many times I went to a simcha where, guess who's there? I'm thinking of somebody, I will not say the name, who, there's both Zaydas are the most illustrious people in the entire, who knows what, the world famous, big brand names, Shas, Paiskim, Talmidim, successes. And by the way, I came there to that simcha because I saved the life of the Baal Simcha. I'm not going to go into details. I saved this. But while I'm there, in comes the son-in-law, the big catch that they got, for the best yeshiva, the best bacha. And he starts opening up to me. And I turned red. Wow, what this guy goes through. And, now I'm going to tell you what's really going on in my life. Say goodbye to envy. It's over. There's no makam for it. Envy is ignorance. They're all going through. They're all broken. I say the pshat is because, first of all, you're a better person when you're broken. You think a Baal Gaivanik is going to burn. Take that Gemara and say to what he says. Shans or Chazal say about a Baal Gaivanik. Boy, they into trouble. L'chaim! Chaim tov l'shalom, Rabbi say. Whoever gets the l'chaim now is a geholpana. Have a mind. I'm going to say one thing about when I went to Israel. I had a packed house. And they picked me up. Don't ask. I was together with two other speakers. I'm the guy that they wrote Agayna Tzadik. I'm the only one. There were three other speakers. I'm the only one that got Agayna Tzadik. I don't want to get involved in why the others didn't. To me, it looked like the less titles, the bigger the person. And when I got to know who's who, it's fine. I wasn't complaining. But there was a world famous speaker together with me. And after I gave my speech, he had to speak. I promise you, 3/4 of his speech was, and Mandel said this, and Mandel said that. Mandel, I don't even know what he's talking about. And as Rabbi Mendel has just mentioned, he didn't stop. He's a smart cookie. He knows how to make you feel good. He's great. He was a sweetie. I loved him. You know what I did? I says, in the Vardig, when you see two people hugging each other, he hurt his feelings, and so he's hatov b'makam. So I'm going to hug this guy in a minute. And I did, right in front of everybody. I'm not impressed. And I says, but not because I'm working on my meters. He happens to be super sweet. I said that in Hebrew, if anybody knows Hebrew. I went right over and I hugged him right in front of everybody. Place was on the floor. I want to tell you what else I did. There was a Rav, a certain Rav, and I went to that Kiddush, and they offered me, and they asked me to speak. I says, you're telling me or the Rav's telling me? I don't want to. Here's a Rav here. The Rav don't care. He wants to hear you. Okay. I asked the Rav, yeah, good. When I finished speaking, I had a couple of these, And I says, I'd like to kiss the Rav. I said this in front of everybody. I'd like to kiss. Can I kiss the Rav? A Rav of a big shul, held out his hand. Yes, you could. And I walked over and I kissed him. And then I says, I didn't mean that. I meant like this. I did that. I'll tell you a story of Barbad. Barbad was a Litvak. The Litvaks they don't know. And he looked like a Rebbe. The Mechazaluzah told him, put on some boots, and you'll get thousands of Sidim. You're cut out to be a Rebbe big time. You'll go places. You'll come running after you by the thousands. You got it in you. Barbad, get into business. Chassidish Rebbes, they're smart. It's a business. You know what I look like? I just bought him, and I'm sick of my mifus, and what? Yeah, whatever. You know, do it. Make a business. You get yourself a gabbai and get moving on it. If you gabbai, they're probably going to get most of the money, by the way. You heard about the sign in the papers, gabbai looking for Rebbe 50-50. Heard about it. So he told him, I will tell you a true story. I will not say his name. There was a super Rebbe, his Meifsim Tzaddik Yisaid Oilam. Everybody held from him. He was beyond. He was a Meifsim Nevesh. He was I can't describe his greatness. The Gabayim used to fight over him. You know that? And he was an Isha Shalom. And the Gabayim used to kidnap him. You never knew where he was. He lived in a certain city, I don't want to say where. And whenever you came to a special trip, it's far, it's Yehovah, it's somewhere, not around here. People made special trips to see the Rebbe, to find, where's the Rebbe now? Well, he was kidnapped last night by the competitive Gabayim. And they had a black limousine waiting outside. They picked him up, put him in, and when the other Gabayim weren't looking, they kidnapped him. He's money. He's worth a lot of money, this Rebbe. So it's a big business. So he was an Isha Shalom. He never wouldn't open his mouth. He used to laugh at everything. And they had a ball. The other Gabayim infuriated. Behind our back, you kidnap him. Why would we get you back? The next day he was here, he was there. He used to go, you know, they were at it. He was worth solid gold. Anyway. But Baruch Beh looked like a Rebbe. You know what they say about him? If there was a woman a mile away from him in the street, he knew it, and he walked the other way. You heard that, no? Baruch Beh, the Malach. Baruch Beh once sat down. There was a newspaper on the table. He went like this. He wouldn't touch it, a newspaper. I want to tell you something else about Baruch Beh. I just heard it. I heard it years ago, and now it was verified. You see the Elam? I am not Dairish for not Mekayim. You know how many times I've been taking some of this bud stuff? Anyway, I drink. Yes, der Rebbe trinkt. I believe. Drink, Rabbi say. Drink. Enjoy life. After Zman Simchasenu, you got to be oozing. We just lost all our Vedas. You got to be dancing, guys. Rabbi say you got to spend all day long saying, we just lost all our sins. Say it and make believe you're happy. Make believe. L'chaim. Anyway, so what was I talking about? Who? Baruch Beh. Baruch Beh was walking, and they say in America, and he looked gorgeous. You ever see the pictures? Baruch Beh, Malach Alikim. And he used to talk, when he spoke on learning, he'd say, the Heilige Abaya said this, the Heilige Rava said that. Yeah, he called every Ben Torah Mavakish Hashem. He went wild over B'nai Torah. Milan and Godler, Baruch Beh. Anyway, so he was in the States, and suddenly a Yid walks over to him, a Chassidish guy, and he was visiting to make money, and he grabs him by his hand, and he kisses his hand. Baruch Beh says, what's this? You have to understand, in Lita, they don't know what you're talking about. What's that all about? You know, they weren't Chassidish. They never saw Rebbe in their lives. These Litvakis, these dried out Litvaks, what do they know? Did they see a Tish? Never. What's Chassid? What they all about? Chassidim, interesting, you know. So the guy tried to kiss him. He says, "What are you doing?" Then, you want to kiss? Let's go. If that's what you want. And he started hugging him and kissing him. Baruch Beh said, and learning I'm shvach, and your Shemaim I'm shvach. Ahavas Yisrael. There I'm good. So anyway, listen to this one. I didn't go anywhere. I didn't go anywhere because I was busy with my stuff. I visited this guy and that guy, and I missed the boat. No kaisel, Mandel. What are you doing? Well, it was the night before I leave. And I'm packing up. Suddenly, my friend, good friend of mine, drives up. You want the kaisel? You got it. I got my kaisel. Beautiful. Then I'm going to go to sleep, and these three Yerushalmis pop up. See the guys, sweet guys. They all listen to me. They know me. There's so many people saw me in the street. They run over. He says, "Who are you?" I know you like a book, he tells me. I've been listening to you for 2 years. I never missed they even find out what I said in English. They check me out. They get me in all the languages. So I met a lot of good friends over there by the Kaisel everywhere. And this guy, these three guys want to schmooze around. And I am not a schmooze around. I don't go for it. I'm busy. I have things to do. I'm going to schmooze around a little bit. We'll talk, not too much. And these guys have all the time in the world. Some people, 12 o'clock at night is when they begin. That's called safe territory. 12 o'clock at night, it's early, I'm a lamed, What are you up at 12 o'clock at night? What's going to be with the kids tomorrow? You're going to kill them. You didn't get your sleep at Pikuach Nefesh. I'm not into that, staying up late. Although there's sometimes things change a little bit. So these guys come, Mandel, we know you, we want to talk to you. What? Who? Who? You want some schnapps, some beer? Spring Hill Times, right here. There you go. Get it. It's Murder can develop. Now listen to this. We have one of our illustrious rabbis, Rabbi Varshavchik, is giving out service with a smile. Lech Raid, go get it. He's meidic, beautiful stuff. Anyway, so these guys start schmoozing with me, and they say, "I want you to come to my house." It's not happening. I don't make no house calls here. I'm busy. Not going nowhere. I didn't even dream of it. You want me to come to your house? That's so nice to hear that. First of all, the guy slips me $300. By the way, that's the latest thing. In my world, I go to Israel to collect money. Did you ever hear this? The Mashiach is on the road. I promise you, $300 cash. On the spot. Oh, you want some money? Aren't you a Yerushalmi? What are you doing with $300? You have that money to give an American? The table is turning inside out. Something's not right. It's supposed to be working the other. But it's happened to me a lot lately. They're all coming to me, giving me money. So, we'd like you to come to my house. And I'm schmoozing. A few minutes I'll schmooze with you. Suddenly, I'm holding my glasses, and suddenly, snap. Don't ask me how that happened. When this temple snaps, it's over. I say, oh no, I'm going to have to go home. It's going to be a ganze Asik. And I say, oh no. So the guy says, you want me to fix it? And the guy had bטחון. He wanted me, big time. He gave me $300. All right, I'll take the money, but I'm not coming to your house. I'm busy. I have so much to do, I'm a busy guy. And he says, I have bטחון, and he had bטחון. And he says, you want me to fix that? I says, yes. Come to my house. I was stuck. So I come to his house. Was it worth it? With the two other guys, Sweetie Satmar, Breslovers. There's a lot of them, by the way. The Satmar Olam are big Mavakshim. You know, Reb Chaim Kanevsky told me he likes Satmar Chassidim. You know that? He told this to me. Reb Chaim Kanevsky told me this. He likes them. I don't want to get involved. Why, what, when. He mentioned how he likes them. We're talking about something irrelevant. He threw it in there. So,
you should follow the
Satmar Shita, there you go. Satmar is very much on my good list. I'm sorry, Rabbi Say. Don't think the other guys aren't. They're all good by me. Anyway, so what happened? I'm in his house, and I decided, let's chill, who cares? So I had 3 Satmar guys, and there was a big Ezras Nashim. All the neighbors came. They were at the other end of they heard all my drushes, and I was making my drushes and my jokes and my this and my that, and giving them a good time. And finally, he says, by the way, have you been by Kevish Molanavi? I says, no, there's no place I'd like to go more than there. He says, come inside, it's 7 minutes from here. In 7 minutes, I was at Kevish Molanavi. Gan Eden Atachten. And when I was finished there, he said, how about Kevarachel? It was 2 in the morning, 3. You know, these guys, the clock stops. You know, they have no shaykhs. I don't understand the ladies also. You're a mother of kids. Each one of them had 12 kids each. All these guys, at least 12 each. No, but they knew plenty. These are Williamsburgers who moved to Eretz Yisrael. That's something. The Williamsburg, the Satmars, the breast of the Satmars.
Now you know without the money.
Now you got it. He's right. So anyway, I went. How about you? So I went in that night. I got the kaisel. I went nowhere. I got thanks to my broken glasses. I got the kaisel in one night. Thanks to saying goodbye to the whole sleeping situation. And say goodbye. Who has to sleep? I'm having a bracha. You should know, years ago, if I didn't sleep the full 8 hours, I was a zombie. Or 7 hours, it was over. And they basically gave me a bracha. When these things happen, I said, Rabbeinu Shalom, I want to be up tomorrow. I don't want to walk around like a zombie. That's all I have to say. I can sleep 3 hours. It's fine. The next day, I'm perfect. Maybe a drop, but within a few minutes, it's as if I slept my full 8 hours. It's a bracha min hashemayim. I mean, well, I daven. You know, there's different ways of getting a full night's sleep. Either go through the grind and sleep your head off for 8 hours or 7, or daven. Eibishter, let's have a ke'ilu. Let's have a ke'ilu. And I get it. I made a whole thing about ke'ilu. You know, by the way, when I was in Aratzofan, it's a great place. There was a chodesh over there. There's a Rav upstairs. He's one of the Ramei Chodesh's son. Tzofan is named after the Alter Slobodki, you realize. That's the name. Tzofan is Tzvi Finkel, Nosson Tzvi Finkel, Tzofan. He used to call himself Tzofan. The name of his sefer is Tzofan. So they named the shul. It's a big shul. Everybody comes there. It's one of these, like Kel Shimshin. Big Binyanim. By the way, you get up at the Yomid, daven anything you want. It's all legal. Well, the first guy is Far, the next guy is Ashkenaz. The next, suddenly a Yeki comes with his own Nahalach, and then a Sephardi comes, Edus Tamizrach. Next minute you got a Yemenite with his Gimel and all these stuff and all different kinds of, everything's legal in Aratzov. It's an interesting shul. It's Gavaldi. By the way, I had the schus. There's one of those, but the Midrashim has a sukkah on it. And Rav Scheinberg was Mahada on Sukkot, always to daven b'tzibur in a sukkah. And I was able to be there again and again. They used to help me. I had such a blast. You know what it is to be in a sukkah? To daven tefillah b'tzibur in a sukkah. Anyway, so how did I get into this? How did I get into this? What? Who? Yeah, he liked my stuff. I told him all my Novandig about holding from myself the whole bit. He was going not shayach. He loved it. All my stuff, I've checked my stuff out 100 times already. It fits in. The Alter Slobodki would see me, he would kvel with nachas. I'm the man that's holding up godless Adam. You know what I once said? Ah, bumba. This went viral, by the way. Remember the time I went viral? What does viral mean anyway?
I really did.
I went viral.
I worked with a Hasidic guy. He told me, he was hacks me, you Litvak. This is the Litvak that I like. He saw this bit.
He said that?
Yeah.
Well, a lot of those, they're disclaimers. They say, this guy is not a Litvak. Something's not right. I've heard that many times. You're not a Litvak. Cut it out. Yeah, they told me that. That's what we're teaching. We are backed by everybody and anybody. We have a backing. Whatever we say, Shechina medaberes mitar greinai. Rabbi Golomic said it. It's true, and that's final. That's it. I'm also pretty good. If I said it, it's fine. Straight tuck up. I went to a bris on Tishpag. There was a bris, and I noticed everybody at that bris was like this. Everybody was at the, I figured, well, it's Tishpag, you know. It's a bris, but it's Tishpag, you know. I understand. So I asked around a little bit. I says, do these guys always look like that? I said, if these guys look like that all year round, and if these guys look happy, normal usually, and the cover Tishpag, they look like this, I respect them. But if all year round they look like this, and Tishpag they also look like this, I say they need a total different Tishpag. They got to do tshuva and tachas asher levarete b'simcha. You got to cheer up, boys. Smile in Tishpag. I'm to you. Mutalach, tzechiyuv. You got to. That's why there's a Tishpag, because you're going around like this all day.
Maybe they're doing it all year long. Zechel Tishpag.
Zechel, that's right. That's right. So some people think all year round is Tishpag. That's the way you're supposed to katz derech. I said this in front of the B'nai Brakas. Boy, did I have a ball. They picked me up. Ooh, and they all told me that peklach. I want the Elam seriously. One after another, where even Mandel, the big Baal Meifis, felt, wow, the issues going on out. It wasn't simple. Every guy that came over, they were big, the big issues. But anyway, the next day, and I gave them all brachas. Yes, for sure, Vadai. So everybody say, Vadai. They're all having Yeshuas. Everyone, nobody will be left behind. Amen. One guy came back to me. He was off on my case. Punkti lives in Kiryat Sefer. No, he went special to Kiryat Sefer, and he's coming after me. He told me his issues. He says, tell me up front. He's a happy person. Interesting. He says, I have so many issues that I don't know if there's someone like that. And then he started explaining it. And I says, wow, you taka, you rape. And he says, Mandel, what are you going to do for me? I says, all your issues are disappearing one by one. I mean business. I'm a Tomim. And he got back to me. It was Erev Shmini Atzaf. No, it was Erev Shabbos. And I was in Kiryat Sefer. He told me that the first time I gave him a bracha, he saw a major nisim. And I says, the second time, I says, more nisim? No, minor or major? It's major, right? How did you know? Major? I don't know exactly. I don't like details. You know, he's got the family, your kind of family, don't parnosa with family, with the, don't, he taka, he had very, not push it. But anyway, this guy with a shtreimel pops up on my door. I was at 42 Rabbeinu Gershom, and suddenly a guy with a shtreimel pops up, and he smiles to me, and he says, "The Zeisteh shtreimel," points to his shtreimel. He says, "That's your shtreimel," he tells me. I says, "What do you want from me?" He called me up a couple of months ago, 50-year-old single guy who never got married, and he says, "You told me, Vada, you're getting married." 3 months later, here's the shtreimel to a 42-year-old girl, never married. Now he wants a bracha for a kid. He came back for the kid. How do you like the 50-year-old, I had a 45-year-old, guy who was here. They had a group of Yerushalmis came here, and they were dancing with me. And the Balagola, they told me, was a 45-year-old guy. They said, I gave a bracha right afterwards, it became a chassan. So I'm doing okay. Anyway, it's already 9 o'clock, and they want my questions. I don't see. You know what I'm going to do? I'll tell you what we'll do. We have these are supposed to be in Hebrew. These. I know, I'll translate it. Now we have questions. Shaila,
In the back.
could a Russia have b'tachon for other people?
This is in the back. in English.
Or for good. Sure. The name of thousands of people that gained from Rebbe's speeches at Eretz Yisrael, a huge thank you. So far, so good. Rebbe should please not feel rushed to finish all these questions. I'd like to hear that. It is fine if Rebbe answers just a few questions and continues on the next year. That's nice of you. Even if it takes a good few weeks to finish. Thank you. That's good. But we're going to have more. You keep giving up. That's going to be all right. Before reading each question, so Rabbi Yafi can split each shaila, please can Rebbe read the word question? Thank you. I don't know he's talking about. It sounds good. Anyway, what did I want to say?
There's questions in there.
Now, this guy wants.
The other sense question.
Because there's Yiddish in the back.
They're Yiddish? I'll
What
stop.
are we in the back?
Let me pick something up. Name of thousands of people. That's the main thing. I want to tell you what a guy told me in Eretz Yisrael. Listen to this one. Two guys were talking about him and his wife were separated for months. His house was falling apart. They both got onto, either me or Golumbek or both, they got onto it. Just listening to us. This guy didn't know what not to do for me. He was going to give me the world. He's crazy. I says, why are you jumping after me so much? So somebody let me know, thanks to that, the separated people decided, let's stay married. And let's everything. The guy said the whole house turned around. The Yerushalayim, the Midas, the everything, only because they're listening to probably Rabbi Golumbek or Rabbi Mendel or both. Imagine. Or they're reading the Alonim. Then I met the guy that puts out the Hebrew, Bטחון Weekly. I never met him in my life. This guy does the whole Israel. I walked into one shtibel after another. Bטחון Shvui. They eat it up. This guy comes over to me. He tells me he has to come home with 3 of them. If not, if he has one, he will not come home because the kids are going to kill him. 9-year-old kids he has. They kill each other because each one got to get his own Bטחון Shvui. That's something. So I told it over to a different Israeli. And he says, I have the same problem. I better come home with a whole bunch of them because the kids are... And he tells me his kid had a choice between a bar of chocolate and a Bטחון Shvui. He says, of course a Bטחון Shvui. Who wants a bar of chocolate? 9-year-old kids are reading my stuff and they love it. Look what a great guy I am. I'm telling you, it was good. I found out how good I am, how great I am. Is that nice? Anyway. So, Shaila. Mein Bruder macht Schönes. My brother's making nice shit. Oh, here goes. Oh, boy. Bei mir, nobody wants my Gittala. Nobody likes. My barrel is already... You want to hear what I've been hearing? This guy is how you have to work on your midas, I'm telling you. And maybe should help him. This guy is seriously ill. Why? He has a 22-year-old boy not married. 22 not married. And he's ill for that. I asked right away, why is your father chayla masukin? Is he stressed? Oh, yes. What's stressing him? 22. 22, he's a baby. And the father is sick in a hospital with seriously ill. Was a 22-year-old. And he has 2 boys on the market. One is 20, 21. They're not Hasidish either.
Bragg spoke in our shul, Shmirat Zesman night. He said he has a school that he's been giving out, not school, Bטחון, but that he's been piled Yeshuas with, that he tells everybody it's not your kid, it's you 1%. He says, Shosh Shutim Badim, Abish is 99.9. What did you do to make the kid? Said you're 1% maybe of
Good point.
When he says that to the person, he
Yeah,
says
yeah.
gewaltige Yeshuas.
Yeah, that's
He said
a stark word, because you think you're the Baal Bus. You know how many people I saved homes. But I had this guy who was married to a woman, gotten you, not marriage material. A woman that from day one is not cut out to raise kids. Nice lady, a lot of friends, sweet lady, you know. But raising kids, she doesn't have it in her. She doesn't chop what kids are all about. The guy came crying to me. He married an interesting lady. She's nice, but she's whatever, I don't want to get involved. She's simply not marriage material. She's not, whatever reason. And then the guy tells me, unfortunately, I don't think I am either. I mean, he has his own issues that she doesn't. All the therapy in the world, this guy's not easy. He went from one psychologist to another. He just not cut out. The kids hate him. They hate her. The kids don't. They can't deal with them. And the parents are both look at each other. They make all the mistakes. You know, they argue in front of the kids. All the official things that you're not allowed to do, they do it all. And there's no control over them. That's them. No control. I don't think his wife understands the concept of self-control. And I don't think he does either. They're both, it's a shrek. And the guy came crying to me. It's an old story. And he says, my friend, in your case, there's 3 shutvas. And the Eibishter, you tell the Eibishter in my name. Tell him, Mendel said, there's 3 shutvas in a marriage. You, a husband and a wife, tell him openly, Hashem, I'm not cut out for this. You better take over the show. And here's my wife. I'm not going to fight with her all my life and hate her. She can't help it. She's got 2 left hands, 2 left. She doesn't chop. And I'm not good at it either. Please take over the show. I promise you it's a true story. The guy's family turned out nachas till shemayim. The guy, whenever he had a problem with a kid, he didn't talk to the kid. He knew he wasn't worth a penny. The kid had no respect for him. He went straight to Hashem. He says, Hashem, please straighten out that kid for me. And you know what nachas he had? Please straighten. The only thing he told me that still hasn't happened, his wife never really straightened out. And I don't think he ever straightened out. But the kids are beautiful. Because I know several young alike with that problem, and several women with the same. In fact, I just met the son of one of the most impossible cuckoo ladies that ever lived. She is one of all the cuckoo ladies, she is by far one. She holds the cup, the silver cup of Miss Cuckoo. She has a reputation from day one. She went to therapists since she's a kid. From day one, the parents said, uh-oh, this is going to cost a lot of money. That she ever got married is a mythos. This cuckoo lady is a tmimistic lady and was given the same medicine as my friend. And her husband, totally out of it. Arachmanis till Shemayim. His own parents said about him once, Nebuch, what can we do with this Nebuch guy? The guy raised the most beautiful family in the world. How did that happen? Because she or him, I think it was she in this case, she was told, Chaya Golda, Chaya Esther, Chaya, whatever her name is, Malki Gittel, you tell the Eibishter, I'm not cut out for this stuff. Take over the show. And nachas, every single family member is a Matsuyin Godel Ad Ma'id. No parents, you need parents. Go to him. Spell it out. Hashem, I'm not cut out. You take over. Who did this? I have a smach for this. I've told this to a lot of people. A friend of mine told me his wife goes into the other room whenever she has problems with the kids. She davens, she comes out, things improve. I told him, Where did I get this from? When in Mitzrayim, the women had babies, and even though they weren't supposed to, but they had babies, because little Miriam told her father, Amram, you're worse than Parai. You're killing the boys and the girls when you divorced Mama. You don't do that. Get back. And she got back at the chassan, and Miriam was dancing with Aaron, and Miriam said, Tati and Mommy, that baby is going to be Mashiach Shel Yisrael. And Mashiach was born, and the rest is history. But everyone followed. Those days, when the Gadol Hador got divorced, the entire Klal Yisrael got divorced. When the Gadol Hador was Machzir Yisasai, the whole Klal Yisrael followed. Then the mommies gave birth. Now, 6 at a time is only the medrash where they didn't have too many kids. Only 6 and a shot. 6 tuplets they all had. There was another medrash that said 6D. They all had 60 babies and a shot. How'd you like that one? A lot of Shalom Zacha action. 60 boys and 1 shot. How are your kids doing? Are you sleeping at night? Are you sleeping at night? When this one wakes up, this one goes to sleep, that guy wakes up. Oh, how are you working this out with all the kids? So the Chazal say, the mommies took all their babies, all the 60 kids. Babalach, come with us. The Mitzrim are going house to house search. They're going to kill out all the boys. Come with us. And they took the mommies, took their kinderlach into the forests. And they dropped the kids in the forest. And they said, Eibishter, I did mine. Now you go. Now you do yours. They turned around, they went home. And down came a bacher. That was the Eibishter himself. A bacher who looked super happy and strong and simchadik. And he came down and he gave them 2 rocks, 1 honey, 1 milk, 1 honey. And he said, Kinderlach, let's have fun. Now let's eat. And they have plenty of nash over there. Eibishter understands the need of nash. I want to tell you something about nash. Now please don't tell anybody. Torah anytime. Are you guys listening? Please don't tell too many people my private life, but I'm going to reveal something. You ready? Fine. Now, I do have an issue. The Torah is very personalized. Everybody has to get his. And it comes to Yom Tov, men have to take basa v'yayin, meat and wine. Basa shlamim, huh? Meat and wine, that's a Yom Tov for men. Ladies, where do you live? Eretz Yisrael or Babel? One of them has white dresses, am I right? The other one has colored dresses. Go, you're a Babylonian lady, you do like what you like. Israeli ladies, you do your type. Then come the kids. Kloyes v'gayzim, kids, get the jelly beans, bubbies, lollipops, jelly beans. That's kloyes v'gayzim. So I have a shtickle, Shiley. Maybe you could help me out. But being a Rebbe for the last 40 years, and I teach 9-year-olds, I always tell them at the end of the year, Kinderlach, next year, you guys are going, the Gemara boys, 5th graders, and I'm stuck again with another group of 9-year-old kids. So after a while, you know Avi Shulman, he's a tidy. He was a 1st grade Rebbe for 10 years. He was a star Rebbe. When did he decide it's time to leave Chinuch? When his son asked him, what time is it? And he said, well, when the little handle is on 3 and the big handle is on 12, it's 3 o'clock. And he said, uh-oh, I'm starting to sound like those kids. He said, it's time to leave Chinuch. He said this in public, Avi Shulman. I think he's a wonderful person. Well, I have been teaching 9-year-olds for 40 years. As a result, just in case the Olam hasn't noticed, that sometimes I'm a little bit, I don't want to say too much. Gotta watch. Somebody told me, he knows a Rebbe. Some of these Rebbes, they're a little bit, the Rebbes, I'm a Rebbe, I'm allowed to make fun. A Rebbe is like, bye-bye, they're not these are adults you're dealing with. You're supposed to shift gears. You're supposed to talk normal. Some of these rabbis, they're funny when I meet them. I laugh a little bit. Oh, you're also one of those. You teach 5-year-olds. Aha, that's a big madrega. They say it's grace of madregas, even though it's grace of madregas, but your madrega of maturity, somehow, when you chazer over a 5-year-old mentality for 40 years, it wears off. Watch what you say in public. People are going to think you're, who's this? He sounds like he's got white hair like Mendel. And the violet, he's our cotton. The godly year, when's that going to happen? At his bris, the Olam didn't give the bracha Zah cotton the godly year. Zah cotton every year gets more cotton. That's the lots of the poor guy. Malamdim have to watch themselves. I was told this in Novandik. I'll say it in public because I'm a Malamid. I'm allowed to make fun. I was told in Novandik, Malamdim got to watch themselves. One of the things they recommend is being machadish and learning. I do that, don't worry. Of course, in Malamed, there's a famous story where Malamed was supposed to do something intelligent. And it didn't work out. And the answer of the problem was, he's a Malamed, He deals with those cutie pies, so he's also a little bit. So anyway, I'm a little bit of Malamed. Anyway, Baruch Hashem, I deal with adults. Or else. Maturity, what does that mean exactly in my dictionary? What does mature mean? What does it mean exactly? I'm not familiar with the concept. What is it? You get mature. When do you get mature? The Alta from the Novandik once said, "When wird man alt?" He didn't believe in getting older, by the way. It's not such a bad thing when you stay young. It's not a bad thing. My father was 92 when he was nifta. He was young and fresh at 90, just like he was 20. Of course, he taught 6-year-olds. It's not the end of the world when your mentality stays down there. Sometimes it's better like that. Keep young. You don't become these mature guys who gets nervous and worried. And I'm mature. It's time to be more like this. I got to be mature. It doesn't pass for me to smile so much. You got to be mature. So sometimes it's worth it. Dealing with little bubbies, and so then you end up like me. I'm a little bit young. Anyway, but one thing I'm a little embarrassed to say this in public, but I'm going to say it as a good Novandik. I'm not going to be so spoiled. It's 9:19. You guys are going strong with me. So, guess what happened?
The night is young.
Oh, you didn't see me. That's right, for such a long time. The Rebbe wasn't here. Anyway. So guess what happened? This gentleman, Rabbi Mendel, came all the way from Muncie. Now listen to this. So, what was I saying? So please don't tell this to anybody, but whenever I learn that Gemara, and I say, Anoshim Beroi Lahem, Bosavayayin, that's your Yom Tov, that's your Simchas Yom Tov is meat and wine. Good. Women, if they come from Babel, they have this type of clothing. That clothing. Kids, clothes, candy, chocolate, cake, ice cream. So in my Gemara, so one of my Hasidim wants to change the Nusser. He wants to put clothes with Geizim, with guys like me. I am not so sure. Possibly, I'll take them both. But I'm also one of the kids. I have a drawer with all different candy, chocolate, cake, and ice cream. And I am naig to take Trumas and Mices regularly. I'm joking. Anyway, so how much more do you guys want to hear from me? It's 9:21. Question? Oh, that question? Okay, his brother is getting all the winners, and he's getting nothing. Nobody likes him. Boy, you got a tough one. This is not easy. Come join Novandik. So all I could tell you is join Novandik. It's the answer to everything. There's worse problems than this, but this is from the big ones. How are you going to live with all the kinna? First of all, the skula. There might be things you should be doing, and that's why your brother, watch out, what is your brother doing that you're not? That's a different shmooze. If you can improve yourself, very good. If you can't, you know that the person with Yeshurim, you don't believe in Yeshurim is your problem. You're not involved with Chazal. You know the average guy out there looks at someone with Yeshurim as a nebuch. Do you have that mentality? Then that's your problem. Because having Yeshurim, you automatically see yourself as a nebuch. Chavetz Chaim looked at a Bal Yeshurim as a Gadol B'Yisrael. Bal Yeshurim is a winner, not a loser. He's a winner. So you already, eyeglasses, put on Musar. Start learning Musar. And learn Chazal. That say, people with Yeshurim are on top of the world. It's better suffer here than there, and it's fine. And then learn a little history. And you want to see how much tzaddikim had to wait to get what they wanted? Avraham Avinu had to wait 100 years till he had his first baby. You know, you're waiting for shidduchim. So maybe you're a Gilgal of Avraham Avinu that you got to wait. You know how many people had to tell? People had terrible family problems. Maybe you're a Gilgal of David HaMelech. You want to know what family problems are? How would you like to have a shver that threw a spear at you 3 times? He's a psukim. That's a nice shver, no? Isn't that wonderful? Or a son, Avshalom, who rounded up the whole Klal Yisrael to destroy his father. How would you like that? So if you feel a little bit out of it in your family situation, learn Tanakh. What's with you? If you don't learn the Torah, you suffer. You're going to have Das Balabayis. And Das Balabayis is you have to succeed or else you blew it. And even in Ruchnius, you didn't finish Shas, you're dead. If you learn Torah, famous story, Baron cried that he didn't have to struggle in learning like someone else. You're struggling? What's the matter with you? You don't believe in Yisurim, so suffer. You like the world. You like to be, well, this isn't right. What's not right? It's not right not to learn Musa. If you learn Musa, all your problems will go into the garbage. Learn a lot of Musa. And then walk around and look at all the guys, your brother who's marrying them all up nicely, and say, look at your brother. Next time you go to his chas and you say to yourself, Nebuch. My brother Nebuch. They don't trust him in Shemayim. You can give him no Yisurim for them. He's a Nebuch. Give him what he wants. Like, it says, Esau of God, Har Seir, Goat Mountain. And he had a good time. Yaakov Yehуда b'Mitzrayim. So you want, my brothers, you look at your brother, put on new glasses, but he got a Mitzui and he got you're more the Esav type, I'm more the Yaakov type. You're the guy that Hashem can't trust you. We're giving you some peklach, a couple of pets, that makes you great. Look how much pets Moshe Rabbeinu had everybody. Moshe Rabbeinu wanted his sons to take over the job. He couldn't. No, your sons don't qualify. How would you like that? Take over the yeshiva. My own sons can't make it. He couldn't. Nobody can speak about that. Because he learned Musa, he was able to deal with his problems. Moshe Rabbeinu learn Musa. All your problems disappear. Then you look at everyone else with Rachmanis Nebuch. Oh, you got a beautiful house, Nebuch. Oh, you married all for your kids, Nebuch. Oh, you have your wife's the big tzaddik, Nebuch. You don't have a wife that beats you on the head. That's not a life. You don't have the real thing. Whoever has an isha ra, ain't a raya pnei gehenim. You, who knows what's going to be? Your wife is such a nice lady. I Baruch Hashem married a witch, and I love it. She yells. I learned Musa, and I don't mind at all. I've seen Novandigas live with all these. They don't care. They mamish don't care because they learn a lot of Musa. They're living with the truth. You don't live with the truth, you're in trouble. You're living what everyone's saying. This doesn't look. He doesn't have enough. He didn't make it with his kids. No. That banging your ears, that's killing you. Who tells you to speak to those Mishagayim? Open up. Almost a sefer that says that's all covered. The good kids are covered. You know what Geshen said about? Hoveli bonim b'mayim mesonach. He never had a kid in his life. So He had Talmidim. Talmidim are kids. It's done. Who do you Reb Gershon was so happy. I remember Reb Gershon was once. I'm still on. Wow. Reb Gershon, I discussed Reb Dave Schwartzman with Reb Gershon. And I told him that he has Einiklach. It was way back. And Reb Gershon was laughing. He was so happy. Oh, it's an Einiklach. I'm so happy. Reb Gershon never had a child. Reb Gershon, that's not a normal reaction. You're supposed to get depressed. I never had a child. Never. And he has 8 o'clock. That's what you're supposed to do. If you're living with the world's mentality, get depressed, go home, cry, tell your wife, oh, we don't have children. You know, Reb Gershon couldn't care less. I promise you. He couldn't care less. He says, I got to tell them it's good enough. Who cares? Oh, you have the kids. So what? I learned Musa. He used to say, Yamani, Kirbas Alikim Li Toiv, thousands of times. I love the Eibishter. Bottom me. You have the kids. If I have Ayin Tova, I'm happy with your success. It's as if I got kids too. That's good enough. Goodbye. So people won't talk about me that I didn't know how to raise kids. You call me a Nebuch. You call me a Nebuch? I love that. Being called a Nebuch, Bezyenis, you lost your sin. Learn Musar. All these people suffer, Musar. You don't like Musar? And the guy's busy finishing Shas, you realize. Finish it again. I have nothing against Shas if you're learning Musar too. But if you're eating your heart up because your brother's doing better Shidduchim than you are, because you got to finish another Perik, it's your own problem. You're not learning Musar. And if you are learning Musar, you're probably learning how to be more from here and more from there. Be more nizzer with your shel rosh, more nizzer with the tails your dime. Everything's great, but you have to have your priorities in life. Priorities is Musar first. It's your life. Without Musar, you're tzarachmanis. Some people who don't learn Musar. It's your own fault. You're going to go and you meet people, you're so impressed with people's opinions. You go to a chasana, and everyone's looking at you, and he's going with his kids, and you're going with your guy with long hair, and you're all, if you're a Baal Musa, you're laughing. You want, hey, look at my Berla. He's my favorite son. And he's got a ring, and Berla smiles, and he's a little shikker from the drugs that he's taking. He's a little tipsy, you know. And they're looking at him, they're saying Rachmanas, and he's laughing in their face. I love my Berla. Berla taught me Savlanis. You know what Nelson used to say about his mashallah? He had a daughter who was not 100%. She was a Down syndrome, and he loved her. Mashi is my Rebbe in Savlanis. She taught me how to have patience. He cared about the next world. He wasn't into showing off my daughter. She married a big guy. Woo! What do you care? I need to work. He was Zeicher to Gilio, it's worth it. So you let the other guy have all the kids, and you'll meet Elio Navi because you never get angry. Well, you know the Mashgiach met Elio Navi. It's a fact. It's a fact. Reb Nosson met Elio Navi. And I'll tell you who got it out of him. 2 of his Talmidim, Reuben Hochster and Moshe Woman, was Moshe Shabbos, and they were singing Elio Hanavi. Elio, Ashimi, part of the niggin is, sure I say, lucky is the person who ever met him, who ever gave him shalom. Suddenly they stop the singing. Music stops right here. Mashgiach, did you meet him? Let's continue the niggin. Mashgiach, did you meet him? Where were you up to in the niggin over there? Ashimi, Mashgiach, did you meet him? He started, playing games. Let's go. Why aren't you guys singing? Mashgiach, did you meet him or not? If he wouldn't say a word, he locked up his mouth. After half an hour, he said, yes, I met Elio Navi, and I spent a lot of time with him. How's that? So because he had a Rebbe. Thanks Mashi. Mashi, the girl that was a little bit Nebuch, right? And she taught him Savlana. You know what she used to do to him? My hat's not here. She used to take his hat, put it over her ears, and run around the dining room. And he used to run in, Mashi, give me my hat. And he ran after her. And she's laughing. No, you can't get me. And he ran around. So his Talmidim came in. What's the mashgiach of Malikud doing? He's running around the room after his mashi. And she's got his hat. It's over her ears. It almost covers everything because it's way above her. And she's having so much fun. And she's running. And he, Mashi, give me my hat, Mashi. He looks funny. It's comical. So they asked Mashgiach, what are you doing? He explained. He says, Mashi, she's not getting married. She's not getting a job. She's not a normal person. What does she never have in life? But she has that little fun that she could steal her father's hat and run around the room and laugh at him. It makes her happy, so I play the game with her. I run after her. Imagine, that was a mashgiach. You heard that, no? No. Mashgiach had good grandchildren.
Daily occurrence.
Daily occurrence?
Daily occurrence.
Did you hear that? That I didn't know. Mashgiach was a real Novandig, though. They a schoolboy.
Chaim Shabbos.
What?
Chaim Shabbos, you steal the becha, hide it. Chaim.
Really?
No, where's the Chaim? You look on the table in the room, it was the whole joke.
He used to look for the becha.
I'm giving it back, he gives her a bracha. He gives her a bracha. The Eltern zal hebben nachas vandaag.
Imagine. You see the mashgiach like when he had matzliach. He had a lot of tzlacha with his grandchildren. Right here. Rabban, Milon Gadol. Rabban, he lived with Musa. People who live with Musa. Never, I have a child. Ay. And the people are looking at him and he's looking at them. This is my family. Oh. Everybody looks at you like that. The stupid, crazy world is so into covet. He didn't make it with his family. He did make it. He's one of those. Why are you wasting your life worrying about your covet? That's the real problem. HaKovet Evel Avolim, all your issues, it's all covered. He has this and he had that, and I don't. And you see what's going on in my life? You know how many people I have to tell them, I can't talk to you now, it's too late. Never too late, but people with these problems. Here, a guy calls me up, his daughter, twins, her twin sister's going around with a baby carriage. She's got 3 kids already, her sister, and she's still single, and she's going, she's married. She's married a year and a half. She had no kids yet, and her sister has 3 kids, and it's driving her up a wall. You know how many times I hear these stories? Every day I got another one. They don't learn Musa. So eat yourself up, gesundheit. If you learn Musa, you say like this, Baruch Hashem, my poor sister has to zip. Look at her, the bags under her eyes. She hasn't slept a decent night's sleep for years, but busy with her kids dancing on her head. And the kids are expensive a little too, whatever. And her husband works overtime. My husband doesn't have to work so hard. We don't have any kids yet. And Baruch Hashem was able to get a good night's sleep. And I'm happy. Whenever I see my sister's kids, I get happy instead of jealous. Because if you're happy with someone else's gedula, then you get a chelik of that. And you work on your midos. It's a great business. You're a businessman. A Baal B'tachon, a Baal Musa is everything business. How can, with profits, I want to work on, I came to this world to work on not being jealous. And I'm doing great. That's all. I don't care about anything else. Well, the kids don't bother me. Of course, you have to try to do your best with your kids, with your parnasa. You have to try, but that's not the main reason you were born. You're off the wall, Bubby. You don't learn Musa, go suffer. It's your own problem. You want to finish Shas, you're busy tzedakis, doing chesed organization, doing a lot of good stuff. You're not working on your midas. The guy says, what are you here for? I don't care if you have 100 kids. I don't care if you have $1 million. I don't care if you finish Shas 2 million times. It doesn't mean anything. If you're not working on midas, you missed the boat. That's why it doesn't work. You end up in the hospital too because of all your aggravation. I have so much aggravation. I have to see the way my brother and me, I'm Nebuch this. I have to watch the way my sister, my brother, my father. Learn Musa and laugh. Learn Musa and laugh your head off. I'm so happy my brother's better than me. I watched in Novhardok, 2 brothers close in age. Boy, you guys are good, 936. Anytime, are you guys still recording me? Are you guys, I'm so curious of what, anyway, I watched this in Novhardok. I saw 2 brothers close. They looked similar too. And one of them, the other one's much more talented than and he was like a bigger star. The younger one was a big tzaddik too, a big Yer Shemayim. He had long Shemoneh, both big tzaddikim, very big time, and big Ovdei Hashem. But you have to understand that close in age, and one of them was way more talented. And one of them used to sing beautifully. The other guy couldn't hold a tune. He was like one of those Litvaks that can't sing. You know what he used to do when his brother sang in public and everyone was raving over him? He bought himself, I saw this in my own, he bought himself a tape. He bought himself a tape and he taped his brother. Then he'd play it over. I need to tell Ishmael at the Achshali. I want to hear how beautiful my brother sings. Work on midos instead of my brother's getting all the attention and I'm the wallflower, the nebuch. No. Enjoy. I'm happy for you. Leiv shesamach midulas achiv. I'm getting Urim B'Tumim. That's what he used to do. I saw this in my own eyes. Live with Musa, Meshagayim. Live with Musa. You'll have a good life. Especially in Novhardok Musa. You have a good life. David HaMelech had more Yisurim than anybody. And he sang more than anyone. And in Miras Yisrael, he sang and sang. Why? What's going on? Because he was a Musanik. David HaMelech was Musa. Even though I said a long time ago it was a Tarvadas type. David HaMelech was from Tarvadas. Tarvadas is big into singing, big into learning. So the Gemara in Bracha says half the night he sang, the other half he learned. So I tell you, he was from Reb Shaga Feivel's, Mendelovich's Chaver, who, Tarvadas likes to do both. I'm joking. But, so be David HaMelech. He had a great life. You know what it says about him? Batche de Malka. He was Hashem's Batchen. It's a Zohar. Hashem, he cheered up Hashem. You figured that out. He was super happy. He learned Musa. That's all he's about. All day, what was David busy doing? Any enemies left? Oh, let me kiss him and hug him. There's another enemy? Let me love this guy. That's life. Breaking midos. He was so happy.
Weren't there a few enemies that he definitely shouldn't get home?
Once in a while, it's a different ball game. You have a Russia, like Doig Ademi, who wiped out 85 Kayhanim, who all had Ruach HaKodesh. They wore Ephod Bod, means they had Ruach HaKodesh. He wiped them out with his bare hands. He didn't like that. That's a different ball game. Not because he's angry at Doig, because Doig is a Russia.